Let me tell you something that might surprise you. Fear doesn't mean stop. Fear means go. Think about it. Every big move you've ever made in your life, I'm talking about the ones that have changed everything. How did you feel about it before you did it? Terrified, right? Nervous, whether it was applying for that job, starting a business, having a hard conversation with someone, or hitting publish on your work, showing up when you really just wanted to hide. You were scared out of your mind, weren't you? But you did it anyway. And that is what separates people who achieve their goals from people who just dream about them. This is week 5 of our Vision to Victory series, and today we're talking about the F word, fear, what it really is, why it shows up, and how to take action when you are absolutely terrified. By the end of this episode, you're going to understand that fear is not your enemy. Fear is your compass pointing you toward growth. Let's go. I'll never forget the day I was supposed to go and speak to an audience about mindset shifts and goal setting. I had gotten my first speaking opportunity right after I wrote the book, and it was a group of women in business, entrepreneurs. I had spent weeks planning for it. I had written the books, I shared on social media, I did all the things that you're supposed to do to get speaking engagements. I drafted my speech and I had all my notes ready. I found the perfect outfit, makeup done just right. I had the location, the time, the place, got the GPS going and everything. Pulled into the parking lot. All I had to do was walk in the building, greet the people, and wait for my turn on the agenda. But oh boy, my heart was racing. My hands were shaking the moment I got out of that car. My mind was screaming at me, what if nobody connects with what you're saying? What if people think your ideas are terrible? What if I embarrass myself? What if they think I'm not qualified to speak on mindset shifts or goal setting because I'm not a therapist? What if this whole thing is a mistake? And if I'm really honest, I know that there were many people in the room who didn't look like me. And while I was a business owner as well, maybe they wouldn't be able to trust that I knew what I was talking about. I mean, this was my first time sharing my ideas with a live group. See, I could sell the book, and once you buy it, you can just have your opinion at your house. But now I'm going to see the faces of people when I talk about these ideas. Oh my, the fear was so loud, I almost couldn't speak clearly at first. But then, mentally, I started to ask myself, what if it turns out amazing? What if you say something that changes someone's life or at least gives them something deep to think about? That's what this mindset shift thing is all about, right? And that question changed everything for me. When it was my turn, I stood up and I shared my thoughts and my heart on mindset shifts because I truly believe that if people shift their mindset, they can change their life. And you know what happened? People came up to me afterwards and they shared the exact words that I said the moment at which their thinking shifted. It was so powerful that they remembered what I said. Some people bought my books as well. It wasn't a lot of people, but it was enough people to prove that what I had to offer mattered, enough to show me that fear was lying to me this whole time. You see, fear told me I wasn't ready. Fear told me they wouldn't connect with me. Fear told me I should wait. Wait until I learn more, wait until I get more. But fear always tells you to wait. Maybe you're facing that kind of fear right now. You have a goal, you have a plan, you know what you want to do next, but you scared. Scared to start, scared to be seen, scared to fail, scared to succeed. We talk about the fear of success in our course. So what? What are you doing? You're waiting. Waiting until you feel ready, waiting until you feel confident, maybe even thinking about going back to school before you go after that goal, waiting for more money, and waiting for fear to go away. But let me hold your hand while I tell you this. Fear never really goes away completely. Not until after you take action. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is action in the presence of fear. So, our mindset shift for today is fear is not a stop sign. Fear is a signpost pointing you toward your breakthrough, your goal. Every single time you feel afraid, what you're really feeling is the edge of your comfort zone because growth only happens outside of your comfort zone. Think about the things you're not afraid of, like checking your email, making coffee, scrolling on social media, watching TV. You're not afraid of those things because they don't require you to grow. They're safe, they're comfortable, and they keep you exactly where you are. But the things that scare you, like publishing your book, launching your business, having that conversation you need to have, asking for a sale on your product, showing up on video, that's me, telling people about your dream, speaking in front of audiences. Those things, they terrify you because they require you to become someone new, someone bigger and someone bolder. Fear is your internal alarm system saying, warning, you're about to grow. And most people hear that alarm and they run backward. They retreat to whatever is safe or what they think is safe. Because the fear of judgment and the fear of the unknown, we talk about these in the course, and people hear the alarm and run backward. They retreat to what's safe because of the fear of judgment and the fear of the unknown. But winners hear the alarm and they run toward it. They say, if I'm this scared, I must be on the right track. Let me give you an example. When I started this podcast, I was terrified. I thought, who am I to have a podcast? What if nobody listens? What if I mess up? But I recorded the first episode anyway, and it was rough. It's still rough. I don't show y'all all the edits, but I'm scared a lot. And I still get scared sometimes when I hit that publish button. And then I record another one, and I record another one because I like to batch record. I probably had on the same shirt in the last episode. But stay focused. But guess what happened after I recorded about 4 episodes in a row? The fear got smaller. Recording got easier because I got braver. You see, fear shrinks when you face it, but it grows when you avoid it. So the question isn't, how do I get rid of fear so that I can achieve my goals? The question is, what brave action will I take even though I'm afraid? 2 Timothy 1:7 says, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind. You were not created to live in fear. You were created to walk in power. God knew that. That's why he told us 365 times in the Bible, fear not. When you go forward, it doesn't mean that fear is going to go away. It means you have to do it afraid. All right, so let's name your fears and take brave action. Grab a pen and a paper. You already know I've got a little work for you. Let's do exercise 1. I'll give you a minute to get your pen and paper. Again, if you're driving, then maybe you will mentally do this and then save this video, come back to it later, and work on it. First, you need to know exactly what you're afraid of. Instead of just saying, I'm scared, I'm afraid. I want you to think about your goal. You know, that thing you're working towards. Now I want you to think and ask yourself, what am I afraid of? Sometimes people say, no, I just procrastinate. That's my problem. Sometimes procrastination is disguised fear. You're afraid, so you procrastinate. So again, ask yourself, what am I afraid of? And write down every fear that comes to mind. Don't filter it. Don't try to think through it. Is this the right? No, write it down. Just write it. Some examples might be, I'm afraid to fail. I think that is probably the number one fear that people have, afraid to fail. But let's think about some of the other ones. I'm afraid that people will judge me. That's that fear of judgment. I'm afraid I'm not qualified. And I know this to be true. A lot of African American women, Black women, we think I'm not qualified. So we think we got to go back to school and get some qualifications. But I want you to think about something for a moment. You get paid on a job very well and sometimes get bonuses to do that thing that you are very good at. So, how dare you think when it comes to your own dreams, you're not qualified? All right, I'm done preaching on that. Maybe you're writing, I'm afraid I'll succeed and that will change my life. The fear of success is real. Sometimes people are afraid to succeed because the higher you go, the smaller the crowd. And they don't want that change. They're comfortable where they are with the large circle of friends that they have. Or they feel like if I succeed, people will see me differently. And so they have that fear of success. Maybe you write, I'm afraid I'll embarrass myself. This is a big one. I've heard this one recently from someone close to me. I'm afraid I will waste time and money, and I just don't have time or money to waste. And the way that I respond to that one is I heard someone say, you're going to go after that thing because it may not be the thing for you, but it will be the thing that leads to the thing. So this is going to work one way or another. And last, maybe you write, I'm afraid of the unknown. And this is another fear. Because you can't see the road ahead, you're afraid of that. Maybe you want to start a business and you're afraid you just don't know if people will buy your product or buy your service. So you're afraid of the unknown. Go ahead, write them down. Write all the ones down that you can connect with. Now I want you to look at your list. Circle the fear that is the biggest for you, the one that's keeping you stuck. I wrote a course called Stuck to Unstoppable. You'll have to check that out. Did you circle it? Awesome. Let's move on. Exercise 2. We're going to challenge the fear. Now, I want you to look back at that fear and I want you to ask yourself 3 questions. Is this fear based on facts or is it based on feelings? Most of the time, fear is based on what might happen, not what will happen. And in that case, we're talking about feelings there. Next question. What's the worst that can actually happen? What's the worst that could actually happen? And if the worst happened, could you handle it? Usually the worst case scenario isn't nearly as bad as fear makes it seem. Someone once said, and I could connect with it, you have survived 100% of your worst days. So if the worst happens, you will survive. What's the best that could happen? Now that's given that you're not trying to do something dangerous. So look at that. What is the worst that could happen? Somebody tell you no, that's not too bad, right? Now what's the best that could happen? What if you succeed? What if it works? What if you're more capable at doing that thing than you think? Write down your answers. Finally, what's the one brave action that you have been avoiding? You know, that thing you know you need to do, but you're scared to do it. Write it down. And now that you've written it down, when will you do it? Give me a specific day and time. So you're going to write, I will do this brave action on January 21st, February 2nd, tomorrow. Put it on your calendar. Pull out your phone, put it in your calendar, give it a title, commit to it. And when the time comes, I want you to just do it. Do it afraid. That's it. You've named your fear. You've challenged it. You have a tool to overcome it, and you've committed to brave action. Fear doesn't get to win with you anymore. Now, you just did something powerful. You looked fear in the face and you decided you're not going to let it stop you. And that takes courage. And you have that courage. Okay, now, I'm going to give you some action steps to take after this video. Remember, I am trying to help you achieve your goals this year. First, I want you to download the free Courage Builder Guide. This worksheet walks you through naming your fears, challenging them, and planning your brave actions. You can get it in the show notes, or you can find it as a free tool in our Fulcrum Mindset community. Second, I want you to take one brave action this week. The thing that you have been avoiding, I want you to do it. I want you to do it afraid. And if you have to, use that 5-second rule that Mel Robbins talks about. Just get up, count down, do it. Third, I want you to share your brave action on social media. Give it a hashtag. Hashtag Fulcrum Mindset, hashtag brave action. Because when you declare it publicly, you're more likely to follow through because everybody's expecting you to do it, right? And then when other people see your courage, it gives them permission to take a brave action too. I want you to come back, comment on how your brave action helped you towards your goals because I really want to know what happened when you took that brave action. Now, if you want the full system for overcoming fear and building unstoppable courage, please join us in the Vision to Victory course in the Fulcrum Mindset community on School. We're cheering each other on there. We're celebrating brave actions and we are doing the hard things together. In the next episode, we're talking about how to stay steady when motivation fades because motivation is unreliable. It comes and it goes, but systems are dependable. And we're going to talk about building systems that help you achieve your goals. You're not going to want to miss it. Listen, fear is a part of the journey. Every person who has ever accomplished anything significant felt fear. The difference is they didn't let fear win. They felt the fear, they acknowledged it, and they moved anyway. And you can do the same thing because you are braver than you think, you're stronger than you know, and you are absolutely capable of doing things that scare you. So I want you to do it afraid because from vision to victory is your story. I'll see you in the next episode.